I don't hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Welcome back to another episode of Permission to Speak Freely. I'm Damo.
And I'm Damon.
Had to put the real good tone on it today, man. To get the real smooth sound on it, man.
Y'all hear that shit, right?
How you doing? What's up with you, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. You know, I've been chilling, man. I went to the command. He told me to go to the crib, man. So I've been at home chilling, you know, munching those kids again, you know, making sure those grades are good to go. You know, got a couple phones right now in the room, you know, for a good
phones?
reason.
What you mean you got a couple phones?
Yeah, for a good reason, man. You know, sometimes they get out of line. I got to get those phones. You take electronics, kids move around, man. You get those phones. I'm here to tell you, and not just phones, video games, phones, anything. Kids move around, man. Yeah, so yeah.
So you at work, but you're not working.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's one of those, you know how it is now, man, with the COVID thing, man. They don't, you know, COVID and short duty is a good thing right now, man. COVID and short duty.
Tell you what ain't a good thing then. COVID and sea duty. You still getting paid?
Yeah, man. Get
Must
paid.
Be nice, man.
Real good, man. I paid real good. So yeah, man, that's what I've been doing, man. What you been up to?
In-serve, man.
Oh man, that's like 3 weeks in a row you said that, man. You started off with in-serve, man.
Yeah, in-serve, man. That's how it starts, man. It starts and ends with in-serve. So this is my last day before I got duty. I got duty tomorrow, and we record on Saturdays. So I got duty on tomorrow, which is Sunday, and then the world won't see me again until in-serve is over. So
that's all right. We already know the world gonna be waiting on us, man. They're gonna be waiting on us, no doubt about that. So this in-serve thing, man. So you know, I'm thinking about it for a second. Like, you go into work, it's dark.
Yeah.
You get off work, it's dark.
Yeah.
Man, what a life to live. Are you working weekends yet?
This my last day of liberty until in-serve is over. So.
Oh man, that's 7 days a week. You talking about 7 days?
It's probably gonna be like an 11-day stretch.
And I know how you are, man. You one of those guys. If you stay at work too late, you might as well just spend the night on board.
That's
not you.
Nah.
I just want to throw it out there.
No, we could do a switchboard clean until 4:30 in the morning.
You still going home?
I'm getting in the car, man. I'm getting in the car. We out of there, man.
Oh man, I thought you stayed on board, man.
No. That's like the thing. That's like the no. You know, you get the guys in the circle. Hey, you know who's staying on board? We stay late. Nobody staying on board. That's a no. You don't stay on board. If you could go home on liberty, you going on liberty.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm the same way. I don't care what time it is. I'm going home, man. So one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, man. I know we talked briefly last time about, you know, me getting my eval, and I said it was pretty good. Just came out, you know. I ain't say what I got or nothing like that, but it was pretty good eval. So I heard you just signed yours.
Yeah, I signed my eval.
How was that thing, man?
I'm happy about it. I mean, when you put work in, it's good to see, you know, sometimes the result of the work that you put in. And, you know, with commands, we talked about how it could be political, how evals could, you know, kind of have a certain connotation to them. And, you know, you might feel like you deserve this or you deserve that. I feel like I got what I worked for, and it's nothing more to ask, you know, from anybody outside of that. So it was a good eval. It was a unique debrief. It was just me and the captain. And that was just because of in-serve, and we got so much stuff going on. So it was just me and the captain, and he talked to me, and it was pretty cool. I was able to ask him a couple questions, got like a real intimate conversation out of the captain. So that was a cool thing. Yeah,
because one thing about those evals, man, when you put that work in for those evals, and say you don't put that work in, you kind of know where you are. You know where you are in the when it comes to the pecking order, right? But let me tell you this, man. When you put that work in, you don't get what you reserve. That's when it's a problem. Stuff like that can divide.
Yeah, that's when the anger kind of
anger and all that stuff. So I'm glad you got what you deserve, man. Most definitely. So that's a good thing, man.
Yeah, I remember being the LPO, and one of my guys, he was a third class. He was outpacing everybody, but he went TAD. And if he listen, he gonna know exactly who I'm talking to. But he went TAD for a while, and he busted his ass. He was working with like civilians, and we did an eval debrief. And he didn't get what he deserved, right? So he didn't get what he wanted or what he deserved. He got pissed. You know, he got kicked out the debrief.
Yeah.
And then after he got kicked out the debrief, me being an LPO got kicked out the debrief too. you know? And I mean, it was a big thing because he just didn't work for us for like 4 months. So it's like, how can you, and this is the same dude from the story about the bumps on the neck. This is my same guy, Tony Dick.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's like, man, if you didn't work for, you know, for us for 4 months, a lot of that stuff we can't kind of equate to what you did. And then if the civilian's not add nothing to your eval, it's like, what do we have to put on this eval? And he was just pissed, man. He got kicked out the debrief. You know, the commanders, it's my debrief. This is my debrief. It's not yours. EM1, go out there. You better go out there and calm him down. So I went out, I talked to him. And I mean, I understand and I understood, you know, his issues. But he wound up making rank super fast. Real smart guy. Cut like a 99 on the exam. Made rank ET.
Yeah, man. That's good stuff, man. But hey, it most definitely can be an issue, man. So, man, what's going on, man? What we talk about today?
Well, today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I do want to, you know, today is Halloween today, right? So 2020 Halloween. And if you don't know this, Sean Connery passed away.
Yeah.
So we just found that out.
I saw that, man. That was crazy, man. 90 years old, man.
90 years old.
He lived, though. I think 90 years old, man. You done lived, man.
Oh,
like, 90 years old.
James Bond. I mean,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. James Bond.
So, we talk about a lot of heroes every day, you know, real heroes. You got Marvel characters, you got actual, you know, military members, freedom fighters, and people throughout history that, you know, were heroes. And Sean Connery played a bunch of heroes in his career, and I'm sure he, you know, meant a lot to some aspiring actors out there. So I do definitely want to say rest in peace to Sean Connery, one of my favorite actors coming up.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. Big shout out to Sean Connery, man. Like that's a big deal, man. It's a big deal, especially in the movie world and things like that. People really thinking about that today. I'm sure that's on a lot of people's minds today. But I also want to throw a shot, you know, on this Halloween thing, man. I'm just gonna be real with you. Hey, my kids ain't going to Halloween. We ain't going trick-or-treating. You know, COVID is out there and COVID is real, man. If you guys don't know, it spikes everywhere. I am not going trick-or-treating. No one is coming to my door and think they're going to get candy from me. It's not happening. Not today. So as you can see right here on my table, I got my kids already got their candy right now. That's what they're going to have. Because I'm not playing around with this COVID thing, man. They ain't coming back in my house. I ain't messing around.
You don't feel like they could safely trick-or-treat?
Nope. I'm just gonna be straight up. Nope. It's man, it is real out there, and I know we take stuff for granted, but I'm telling you, this COVID thing is real and it's spreading quickly.
It's crazy because I feel like Halloween is like COVID safe already.
How? Explain.
They wearing masks, right? That's the first point, right? So they got masks on already.
Some of them, I guess.
You know,
some
got
of them paint on them.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not going to wear paint. It's because of COVID. like you're going to wear a mask, right? So then some of them wear gloves. And then I was explaining this to my wife earlier. The candy is in the factory. You know what I'm saying? It's probably made by some machine.
Somebody who got COVID.
Probably made by a machine. If it's a person touching that candy in the factory, they probably got gloves on, right? So then that candy gets wrapped in the bag. Most likely it's fun size candy. So then that fun size candy get wrapped in another bag. And then that stuff get packaged into probably a bigger box. And then it get handled and taken to a supermarket, right? Mm-hmm. All right, let's skip some of the steps, right? Let's get to the house. So if I got a house and I want to give out candy to kids.
Hold on, can I stop you 1 second? Is this your favorite holiday?
Yes.
So, okay. That's why we going all in. You know, you explain this step by step to me. Now, go ahead, man.
I figured it out, man. I mapped it out, right? So I got the house, you know what I'm saying, and I want to give out candy to kids. It's a couple routes I could take, right? I could sit outside. First off, I could sit outside and watch the kids come to my house and maintain social distance. Like, that's why a lot of people don't think that'll work, right? Here's how that works. You just tell kids, hey, you stay 6 feet away, right? Easy, right? Or I could lay little buckets of candy in 6 foot intervals outside of my house and just have the kids come, grab, and go. Easy. COVID free Halloween.
Yeah, sounds real easy till you start dealing with these kids. Like you gonna have if you sit those buckets at 6 feet apart, one kid gonna come through there and have 4 or 5 buckets.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they have like 4 or 5 buckets, man. Or taking big ass hands full. You gonna be out there for like 10 minutes and think you're gonna be out there for hours chilling. Yeah, you bet there about 10 minutes.
Yeah, to be honest, I fear children like under 10. I have a fear of them, you know, like I was walking my dog the other day and they like him, a little cute dog. So I told my wife before, I'm like, you know, cause it's COVID, she don't want the kids touching the dog. So I'm like, hey, babe, it's easy. Just tell the kids that because of COVID, they can't touch the dog. So, so you know, I'm walking the dog. I'm thinking it's gonna be easy. Like 6 kids run up, like what, like really real, like danger in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like all I see is like anger, hands out, and they just want to touch my dog, right?
Yeah.
They like, oh, you got a dog, and they had a dog too, and my heart melted, man. So they all put hands on my dog.
Yeah,
I went home,
man.
I patted him down, you know, I did everything I had to do, but I couldn't fight the kids that wanted to touch the dog, man.
Nah. You gotta let them rub the dog, man. That's all you can do, man. But yeah, man. Luckily for me, I say this: my kids is all for not going trick or treating. Man, they all about this COVID. This ain't me. I know, you know.
How you know that, man?
Because I asked them.
Yeah, but how you know they told you the truth?
Well, it don't matter. As long as they say no, they don't want to go. Hey, I don't care, man.
Yeah, you never
Say
know.
no. Hey, when they say no, hey, that's my kids right there, man. I like it.
Yeah, you never know if they told you the truth, man.
I think they told me the truth. I don't think they got a problem with telling me what they want to do.
They
don't want to do.
They always tell you the truth. Your kids always tell you the truth.
I don't know about all that, but they try.
Yeah, they don't want free candy from, you know, people all around the neighborhood. That's like shit. I want free candy right now.
Hey, that's why we bought them some, man. Looking out for them, man.
Oh, y'all did your own Halloween?
I don't want them to be sad, man. I got them some extra stuff too, as you guys can see on the table, man. They got
What
all
you got?
type of
What you
stuff,
got here, man?
I got all kind of little knickknacks for them, man. They're gonna be very happy with this candy, man.
Butterfinger. It's like I'm gonna eat one of these right now.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Do your thing, man.
So today we got a lot of stuff that we need to talk about, right? Some lighter stuff, a little bit heavier stuff. One of the first things is pretty cool, right? About Stay 21 program.
Yeah, man. So Stay 21, right? So we pretty much got our first actual Seaman to Admiral, right? A guy that came in, went to boot camp in San Diego. He was a QM1 Navy SEAL, and he actually went in the program, right?
Admiral Matthew Burns, congratulations.
Matthew Burns, right? So he was a SEAL, and I think another one of those good things about the Stay 21 program is that they can stay in their community, right? So he been around the Navy SEAL community, stay in that community, but being one of the first though, I think that's a big thing when people thinking about, oh, when I do this program, have anybody else actually made Admiral? So
yeah,
now
it actually happened.
You know what I mean? It happened, man. This guy been in the Navy 32 years, man. It's an Admiral, man, Rear Admiral. It's a big deal. So, but the program itself, though, for people out there, man, and I think it's a great program. It's one of those programs that you can go from enlisted to commission, right? So back in the day, you know, it was a lot of commission programs out there, right? So what happened was they started putting a lot of these programs together, right? You had programs out there like, you know, the ECP was the enlisted commissioning program, aviation enlisted program, nuclear, civil engineer. So you had all these different programs out there that people can have. And now they put all those programs in one, and it's called Stay 21, right? Seaman to Admiral. So I think that's a good deal. And then all that stuff that I listed, they can stay in kind of the same community of one. And then once they go to whatever college they want to go to, it's going to be a big one right here. Once they go to the college they want to go to, a lot of times it's like, okay, you kind of on your own. We'll put you through college, but you're on your own. But that's not the case with Stay 21. In Stay 21, you still get paid at whatever pay grade you are. So if you're E5 or you're E6, until you graduate college, you get paid for that program. Man, that is huge right now. So all your young sailors out there that want to go towards a commissioning program, man, I think Stay 21 is the way to go, because you are getting paid and you going to school every day for 3-4 years, however much it is. I think it got a cap on of $10,000 per year. So yeah, man, that's a big deal, man. Stay 21 program.
Did you ever try to do any commissioning program here?
I did, man. I tried to do the warrant. I tried to go warrant before. Didn't work out for me. And in a way, I would have been happy if I would have got picked up, because I put in for it. But then I feel like it wasn't for me, right? as a warrant, yes, I can do some stuff and I still can talk, but I think me being enlisted, actually can be heard a little bit more when it comes to talking to junior sailors, right? Warrants kind of like, they kind of in their own world, they kind of in between or whatever, but I feel like being enlisted, I still can talk to young sailors, and being in as long as I've been in, I can kind of communicate with them guys a little bit more.
You submitted a package for warrant? Or?
I did submit a package. I actually submitted a package time I got to my command, and it kind of got, man, the way we did it on the, and when I first got to the command, I think it kind of maybe got lost in translation because I wasn't the one that sent it off, right? So I really don't know what happened with that program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of don't know. Not saying anybody did anything crazy, but I just don't know what happened. I just know my name went on the list.
So you had to do the interview appraisal?
Oh man, I killed those interviews, man. Had good interviews.
I didn't kill mine.
Yeah, I liked it. I tell you one other thing too, man. People was putting me in the right position. I was talking to the right people.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what I did, right? For some of you guys that are putting out for these programs and stuff like this. So I went on fleet temps at the time. When I went on fleet temps, and I looked up. I'm an engineer, so I looked up every CWO5 that was in engineering, and I emailed them, right, to look at my package. And it was, at the time, it was 5 of them total.
Yeah.
Right. So it was 5 engineers. So I sent them off, and every one of them sent me an email back about my package. Every one of them. So big shots out to those guys. And also on top of that, 2 of them gave me an interview.
Yeah.
Right. Who does that, man? You reach out to these guys, gave me phone interviews, over the phone, talked to me, and then sent it to me. Right? How about that? And sent it back to me, man. So big shots out to those guys, man. That's what I call taking care of sailors, man. That was something I look back in my career and I think about how I reach back to sailors and talking to them, you know. So that was a big deal, man. So big shots out to those guys.
Yeah, I went for LDO as a first class, and I thought I was killing these interviews, man, like just nailing them, going visiting different, LDOs, doing some really good interviews. I felt like a civilian actually, because some of these I put my civilian clothes on for. But then when it came down to doing the one at the command that I was at, I was stationed at the Naval Academy, and I had to do it with my commander and his deputy. And when we did it, and I was doing well at this command, tracking real good, had a real good rapport with the commander. They killed me, man. And I think they did it because of that. Yeah. But one of the questions, so throughout the whole interview, like everything they asking me, I'm just getting it wrong. Like, this, that, and these were like, so at one point, one of the lieutenant commander, he was supposed to be my chief, my senior chief, and I was a new ensign that stepped on board the ship. So he grabbed a cell phone and he was like, yeah, I'm with this new ensign right now. But, he not really going to do shit. I'm going to still keep running the show. So I'm about to just chill here. He do what he do. And then he turned around and looked at me. He's like, hey, Ensign McCullough, go to your stateroom, man. Play a video game or something. I got this. Right? I like that, man. So my commander, he's like, what you going to do? And that's like how they was like talking to me through this whole process. He's like, what you going to do? Your senior chief got the cell phone. What you going to do? And I'm like, I ain't seeing. Check it out. I'm missing. He ain't listening. I was like, hey, senior chief, look like, I'm missing McCullough. They was like, he's not listening to you, man. So then he grabbed the cell phone again. He like, man, I don't know what's up with this little essay here, man. Hey, I told you go to your stateroom, right? So, there's like, what you gonna do? So I froze up. I'm like, put him at attention. I'm gonna put him at attention. So he's not going to attention. What you gonna do? So I couldn't answer the question. I was like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And these were like guys I respected, so it was hard for me to even look at them as senior chiefs at the moment. So after that, like after getting like drilled, and that's how it went too. Like so after getting like that. The last question he asked me was, all right, it's your first day on the ship. Now, I came into this interview, like, knowing I was ready, but after, like, getting this, like, scared straight kind of, like, interview, I ain't think I was ready no more, So, and it wasn't that I ain't think I was ready. I just didn't think I was ready to the point I knew it was more I had to learn. So the last question he asked me was, all right, you step on the ship. It's your first day on the ship. were you walking across that brow? Are you ready to lead sailors as an officer? And I'm like, that's a, how I am. I'm like, yeah, that's a structured, question. I got a structured answer for that. He's like, you just got to say yes or no. I'm like, I can't just say yes or no. It's a way to answer. My answer was going to be like, I'm going to be ready. I know that I have to grow and there's more to learn, but by the time
you want to get all that out,
I finished. That's what I wanted to say. He was like, you just gotta say yes or no. So I was like, no. He was like, don't you ever say no. You always. I was like, oh man, yo. So
that was a good one.
Yeah. So then I was like wondering how it went. Like maybe they was just messing with me. I always wonder like what they really submitted in the when they did the appraisal thing, but I never found out. So that was my experience with that.
And you know what? And another thing for me though. In my experience when mine came back and I wasn't selected, man, I was a little hurt by not being selected, man, because I feel like, man, you missing out.
Yeah, I was hurt too.
I feel like you missing out on me. I mean, I put the work in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of felt a certain type of way. But I was also told, I was encouraged to keep putting packages in and things like that, because sometimes they look at it and see if he really wants to be a warrant, he'll keep putting these packages in. So I kind of lost all that though, and then I made senior chief and all that stuff. So
then I was doing that also on the side of one of my sailors. She was submitting to go to the academy, right? So she, she was learning how to do a pull up and everything you gotta do to go to the academy. So I was doing that on the side of that. So me and her were both doing our statements together, our summaries.
Yeah.
And mine, I took it through like every channel, everybody I could, like every chief or senior chief, master chief that I respected. And everybody gave me like a different perspective of like exactly what, and even I went to the LDOs, of course, but exactly what to write, how to write it, how to format it. And then I went and I looked at hers. I'm like, well, let me check yours out, just because I was her LPO at the time. And hers was like straight from the heart. Like, I'm this girl from Chicago, I was raising, my younger sisters and this and that. And I'm like, man, like, hers is very strong,
felt it, yeah.
But I'm looking at it like this not what, I've been being taught to write, but she got selected. She wound up going to the academy.
Wow.
She's an ensign now. So, definitely.
Shouts out.
Yeah. Shouts out to her. Congrats on that, Ensign Smith. But that just taught me to like, all right, when you're going through anything, whether you're going through the eval process, whether you submitting a package, anything you're going through, you're going to get input from a whole bunch of people. You got to rack and stack that input, take this, take that, take this, but always still go with your heart. Because whether you achieve it or you don't achieve it, what at the end of it is that you went with your heart.
Yeah. I agree, and don't do like me and give up either though. Like I could have kept putting packages in, but I kind of just felt like my worth. You know what I mean? I know my worth. So that's why I ain't putting no more packages in. So keep putting them in. Whatever career path you want to go, keep pushing yourself. Keep driving and stay hungry, and you'll get where you need to go or want to go.
Yeah. So once again, man, we saw our first Seaman and Admiral, Matthew Burns. Big congrats for Matthew Burns.
Most definitely.
All right, so also, we got a big holiday coming up for us, right?
Yeah, man. Veterans Day coming up, man.
And that also marks the official release date of Permission to Speak Freely podcast.
Imagine that, right? There's also another thing coming out, man. What's this thing about the veterans and the national parks? It's national parks, right?
Yeah, national parks. Free access to national parks. That's starting this year, this Veterans Day. So from now on, and it's forever. Right. So from now on, vets got free access to national parks and Gold Star families.
Yeah, Gold Star families. So Gold Star families, for you guys don't know, if it's for a family member, a next of kin family member that paid the ultimate sacrifice, either, died in war or something like that, for example.
So veteran, like, let's talk about that for a second, right? With Veterans Day. Golden Corral, what deals? What's the best deals like that you had? IHOP, what you got? The pancakes?
Oh yeah, man. IHOP always been one of those things, man. you know, free pancakes, man. Every time I go to IHOP, you know, I gotta have that those steak tips, man. Like, you know, the steak tips and the red potatoes, and now you just throw them free pancakes on top of that, man.
So steak, potatoes, and pancakes.
Oh yeah, man. Man. Ooh, you walk.
I'm sure the Mississippi people hoot and holler right now. But
man, it's one. Then they put the onions and mushrooms on that steak.
Yeah.
And then when you come up out of IHOP, man, you ain't even walking, man. You rolling up out of them, man.
I'm sure you are, man. That shit probably stay in your system for about 16 days, man.
Yes, indeed.
Steak from IHOP.
Yeah, man.
Steak tips from IHOP.
Oh yeah. Oh man, they good too, man.
Do you do the Golden Corral on vegetables?
I used to. I haven't in a while though. I haven't did it in a hot minute, but I know it's one of those big options out there for people, and a lot of people go to Golden Corral.
Yeah, Applebee's. Check it out. Applebee's and Ruby Tuesday and all them other places. Start with the selected meals on Veterans Day, you know? Like, I want to be able to get whatever I can eat any other day. I don't need to be from 6 to 9. I can only eat chicken fingers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that. You ever experienced that?
Yeah, all the time, man. That's even at IHOP or something. They always get time frames. You know, got time for that shit.
Just pancakes. Like, yo, because I don't think you can't get the steak tips, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you ain't getting them steak tips. You got to buy that, man.
So we were talking about State 21, and there's a lot of benefits in State 21. But since you've been in, what's some of the stuff that the Navy kind of offers that you actually took advantage of?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I have taken care of is the educational piece.
Mm-hmm.
I use TA to the fullest, so I got a bachelor's degree, and from TA, and also I'm working on my master's, like right now, working on that, and also even with the GI Bill, I kind of like gave my GI Bill to my wife, so now my wife got a master's degree right now,
nice.
Using some of my GI Bill. So the educational piece is what I really took advantage of, and I encourage everybody out there to take advantage of that, because a lot of times, like with me, when I first came in the Navy, one of the biggest reasons why I came in is like I didn't want to go to school for 4 years right after being right out of high school, right? So I took a little bit of time. I came in the Navy, took a little time, and then I figured out what I was doing and how I was doing it, and then the opportunities is out there. Hey, you go to shore duty, you got time on your hand, a little bit more time than you have on sea duty. Mm-hmm. Get your degree, man. Use that education piece. And the biggest thing, man, is free.
Was it worth it?
All worth it, man. Most definitely worth it.
I asked that question because we got a lot of sailors on sea duty. Sea duty's like busy right now. So a lot of sailors, you know, the retention rates, just from my visibility, right? I have no facts here, but just based off my visibility, the retention rates aren't, you know, as high as like leaders probably would want to see them. And then when I talk about leaders, I'm talking about us, chiefs, chiefs, officers. I'm not talking about like the highest people in naval leadership at this point. But a lot of people not staying in to make it to shore duty, man.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you, man. Like, and it's coming from my last command. It's the first time at my last command that so many young sailors got out the Navy. Like, I'm used to people like, yeah, I'm gonna re-enlist and go to shore duty, and then I figure it all out once I go to shore duty, you know, if it's good or bad or whatever the case may be. Man, sailors are getting out real quick right now at a rapid pace, man, and I think mostly because of the schedule. Yeah, you know, the schedule is tough right now for sea duty. I tell any sailor right now, it is not the same as it was when I came in for sea duty. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know if I would stay in right now the way sea duty is right now. Man, sea duty is rough.
Yeah, but on the back end though, that's what we talk about, right? On the back end, you got shore duty.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people learn so much about themselves on shore duty.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you get, when you on sea duty, your chief, your LPO, somebody try to sell you shore duty or just kind of talk about shore duty and like all the benefits of it. And that happened to me. I felt like when I was on sea duty, my chief was selling me shore duty. Yeah. And I bought into it. And then I went on shore duty and I took advantage of it. Yeah. I learned so much about myself. That's where I got my degree. I lost 90 pounds on shore duty.
Wow.
I met my wife.
Wow. Like
everything happened on shore duty.
Like life-changing events right there on shore duty, man.
Then I went back to sea duty and I gained 40. I gained 40 like right off the top. Like the weight just started adding up, man. Then I was in a mess. You know,
Yeah.
one of the Master Chiefs, he was like, yo, dude, you know, you're going to gain weight. You're going to get fat. You know, he's like, the way you eating, man. And I mean, I picked up 40 fast, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to watch it out there, man. That food, that shit heavy. That food heavy out there, man.
Even if it ain't good, you got to eat it, man.
Yeah, man. You got to survive out there, man. You got to do what you got to do, man. You can only bring so many snacks. You know what I mean? With you got to eat that food, man. So yeah, man, selling shore duty, right? I guess the thing about selling shore duty is the fact that kids got to get the shore duty. A lot of times these kids are now signing up for 3 years, right, or whatever the case. So you got to do 5 years of sea duty. So that's my rebuttal to that. People get to selling them shore duty because they ready to go now, right?
Yeah.
So, but I will tell this, and I talk to them blue in the face, man. Shore duty, picking the right shore duty, is going to the right place, is very beneficial to your career. And I know when I talk to young sailors about going to shore duty and get that shore duty, the first thing they say, well, now I'm kind of stuck because now I'm maybe about at 10 years now. So I'm stuck. Now if I got out at 3 or 4, I still got time to go do this and go do that. So it's a decision you got to make, right? You go to shore duty, you're not that old yet. You're not, when I say old, I mean in Navy terms of being old anyway. So yeah, man, take advantage though. We talking about shore duty. People are taking advantage of it at sea duty, but it is hard.
Yeah,
it's
but
hard.
that's paid college, So my college was paid for through the GI Bill and tuition assistance because of the school that I went to. I got a cinematography degree. So and the semester hours and everything just cost so much. So I had to go into tuition assistance and the GI Bill. But it's other stuff that I use, man. Like the Quick Assist, from Fleeting Family Services. Mm-hmm. The Quick Assist. You ever heard of a Quick Assist?
Yeah, for loans and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever had to use one?
Yeah, I used one before.
For what?
So again, this is me when I was younger in the Navy. So I had that. You guys remember me talking about that little escort?
Let me tell you. So before we get into this, David don't tell, the mistakes he made. You know what I'm saying? So he got some dirt, man. Every week I'm on here like just exposing all my mistakes, man. So hopefully we about to get one of them stories from David right now.
You're probably not gonna get one of those stories right now, but I do got some stories to tell though. So, but the story about the Quick Assist is when I was younger, I had this nice little escort, man. I'm rolling down the blocks, I'm beating the blocks down, had the 12s in the back and all that good stuff that you guys have heard before. And my motor went out in the car, so it was like, man, like $500, man.
Yeah.
And back then I told you guys how them loans I had out, about the rims, about the paint job, about the all that stuff. So man, I had to go do one of those Quick Assist loans, man, and guess what? Like I'm talking about within 30 minutes to an hour, they gave me $1,000 like for free. Like $1,000, not even way more than the $543, man. Like they gave me $1,000.
Yeah, because there's no interest, right?
No interest, no nothing. Just pay it straight back, man. And then in some cases, it's not even a loan. In some cases, you can just get that whatever you're trying to pay or whatever.
You can set it up straight through your. It'll come right out your paycheck and everything. Easy.
Yeah, easy day.
I used to get Quick Assist a lot. Like I would always get like another one. I remember I hit a cap with the Quick Assist. Like I went one day and they was like, hey, like it's a grace period. Like you can't just.
Oh man, you was going like that?
yeah. They was like, you can't just keep coming back. Like this is not your sole source of income. It's a grace period, man. Like
yeah, man. That's Philly, man.
The last.
Philly trying to get you, man. They trying to get you.
So the last time I got a Quick Assist, I went to get it. My normal move, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I got something coming up this weekend. I knocked the check off already this week, so it's time to hit the Quick Assist. So I go get the Quick Assist, and they tell me that they need to do like a financial kind of review and like a specialist. And I was like, yeah, this would be my last Quick Assist, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they want what they call it, the budget.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
their
the
full
budget
old
plan, yeah, the
budget. I'm
budget
talking about,
plan.
and that budget plan, like I did the first time they did it on me.
Oh, you got it the first time?
Man, they did that budget plan on me, and they had me down. I'm talking about this paperwork was thick.
Yeah, it's a
man.
lot.
I'm talking about they want to know what you eating, with groceries, and all that type of stuff, man. So yeah,
Yeah, it was a little bit too invasive, so I chilled out. But it's also, the budget plan is also good, you know. And now that, you know, I'm financially responsible and I'm not getting quick assist anymore, I got my own budget plan, you know. So, but if it wasn't for going through Fleet and Family, kind of learning that kind of stuff, I probably wouldn't be where I am today as far as that's considered.
Yeah.
What about TSP? You do TSP?
I do TSP. I actually give 10% the TSP, man,
Nice.
which is it's pretty good, man. And actually, I done went inside of TSP. That's another reason probably why I haven't went did the quick assist loan, because you can get a loan. That's your money. You can get a loan right out of that. And I've been doing that, man. I've been doing TSP 2020 probably since 2000 probably.
Yeah, I pulled a hardship loan out of there some time ago.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. That was back in those days. But I pulled a hardship. I like coming straight out of boot camp. You know, I was, oh man, I'm gonna be, you know, financially responsible now, and I'm gonna go TSP. And I was contributing, and then I needed some money, so I pulled a hardship loan out of TSP. They took a little bit of taxes, but it was what it was. That's when I stopped the contributions for a while, because I realized if I got to pull a loan out, that mean I need the money. But my money wasn't really ever going into anything substantial, you know, at that young age. So I definitely really want to tell, you know, young people to kind of be responsible in what they're investing in and taking advantage of things like TSP. Because another thing about TSP is it used to be like really hard to like get your password or to be able to get access. They had to send it to your home of record. So like every time I needed to access TSP, it would go all the way back to Philly. And like I'm all the way in Virginia or somewhere like that, I would, you know, ask my mom, hey mom, did you get, you know, something in the mail? She never got that. She got everything else, opened everything else, mom. Opened everything else, but never got the TSP thing that I needed. So now when you go on TSP, it's super easy. You do it through email. It's very easy to access it. They show you how to move your funds around. Are you only in one fund?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm not even in G. The G fund is pretty much you're gonna keep gaining, but it's just so small amount.
Yeah, low
but
risk.
I ain't in none of that, man. I don't even look at it, to tell you the truth. I probably haven't even looked at that TSP account. I just say, okay, I'm just let it ride. It's probably down right now with the COVID thing, but I don't even.
It's probably went down right now, like this week, last week, but it's been going up.
Yeah, that's good, man. I don't even pay attention to it too much. But yeah, so I know we keep saying TSP, but that's thrift saving plan for everybody out there. Thrift saving plan. But yeah, man, if you don't have TSP, and especially if you plan on staying in, or if you plan on getting out, man, it's a good deal for everybody. And man, sometimes you look at that account, you be like, man, that thing to jump.
Get it. Just get it. Get TSP.
Yeah.
Like, that's no questions. Get TSP. Make contributions. If you already kind of have to have it because you're a new seller, make up those contributions. Is definitely worth it. What other programs have you taken advantage of? USMAPS?
Yeah. So, man, let me tell you about USMAPS, man. So I had started USMAPS back in like 2006, 2007 time frame. One of my chiefs said, hey, you know, get this USMAPS started up. So I started it up.
Let me stop you right there. You drug it out. You ain't finished.
Didn't finish.
And then you lost your credits.
Lost it.
And then you had to restart. Those credits.
Restart it all, man. The whole thing, right? But let me tell you this. So this goes back to think about this stuff, man. That's when you start getting certain places in the Navy, you start thinking about all this stuff. So we got this ladder thing out, right? It tells you exactly what you need to be successful in the Navy, kind of. And guess what's on there? USMAPS.
Yep.
So we just came off this little deployment. So I said, man, you know what? Let me sign up for this USMAPS right now, right? So me being a senior chief, I freaking put in for USMAPS, and guess what? They ain't give me no credit hours. And I've been doing this job for a long time, and I got no credit hours. So I hit the guy up, emailed him, and I said, hey, you know, I'm a senior chief, damage controlman, been doing this for a while, but you guys didn't give me no credits towards, you know, this certificate. Guy hit me back, man, no problem, senior. I don't know what happened. It's 3,000 hours. This guy gave me 2,000 hours, man.
Dang.
2,000 hours of that 3,000. So guess what I did? I finished that while I was out there for those 6 months I was out there. So now I've got that certificate for firefighting, man. That's what it's for firefighter, man.
So how many hours did you log a day? That's like
so when you underway and you at sea, you can log up to 12 hours a day while you're at sea. So I don't know how many you could do it when you're on shore or when you're not at sea or not. But
8 hours. 8 hours a day.
8 hours a day, so 12 hours.
8 hours a day, maybe do like 1 or 2 weekend days.
Yeah.
Just to kind of encompass your duty day.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I haven't. I'm still finishing my. Yeah, I'm still. Yeah. 13 years, man.
So it took that long because you keep putting a little bit. They ain't cancel it out on you.
No, so so I first started as a fireman.
Ooh.
Right? Let's talk about the history of this,
man.
So I first started as a fireman. I was filling it out. I got up to about like 19 credit hours. Every eval said I had like another 12, 13 credit hours, right? So I'm up to like 19 credit hours. It's crazy because some evals had less than like the last eval. Like he accumulated such and such. Like, yeah, but last eval, it was already that. But yeah, so I had like 1900 and then I stopped for like, and at that time they had like a thing where if you stop for a certain amount of time, they just automatically like cancel, your account.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was start a new one up, right? So, but when I started the new one up, since I already had an account, like, so remember, like if you start one as a second class, but you never had an account before, they give you hours.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like 8,000 hours I had to have. If I started up as a second class, they would have gave me like 2,500 or 3,000 hours. But since I already had an account and lost it, they was going to start me from 0 hours. Then I was mad, because I was like, I deserved my 3,000 hours. You know what I'm saying? No matter how irresponsible I was about it. So,
So you took it personal.
Yeah.
But they gave you a shot though. I mean, you kind of, but you didn't care though.
I was tight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, well, USMAPS ain't gonna be the thing that do it for me. So I gotta grind a different way. So I didn't finish it at that command. I went to shore duty, kind of didn't finish it there. And now I'm plugging away right now. I got just about 2,500 hours left and I'm on sea duty plugging away. You just got to make sure that, those things get sent into your DLCPO or your LCPO every week. And then, you do your monthlies and your quarterlies or every month to the DLCPO and then your quarterlies get signed and stuff like that. Semi-annual report, stuff like that. Right?
And especially with mine was real. It was kind of easy because it's what I did or what I do every day. So when I'm out to sea and I'm doing this stuff, doing these drills, that's the same thing I do every day. So it was pretty easy. And I'm sure it'd be easy for a lot of guys in they rate, because it's specifically rate driven. So it's good. They got one called, it's a computer one too though. So I ain't did that one yet. But I ain't planning on doing it either, just being real.
And then you got access that through Navy Cool. Yeah. Right? You got access to your USMAPS and all of that, your ladder, leadership and development roadmap. You could kind of get into all that stuff through Navy Cool.
Yep.
So what other so we talked about USMAPS, right? We talked about your ladder. We talked about State 21.
Yep.
GI Bill. What about the VA loan? Did you use a VA loan?
Yes, actually, I used a VA loan for my house. Right. So yeah, man, that was a real big deal. Personally, no money down, no anything.
Did you really not put money down?
No. I didn't put anything down.
Like not a dollar?
I'm trying to think. Did I put something down? I'm not sure, man. I don't think I put nothing down. If I did put something down, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
But I can't remember because my wife was doing a lot of the paperwork side of that. So I'm not sure exactly, but I don't remember putting anything down.
How was the process?
The process was pretty easy. Pretty easy. We found this house. Like my wife did the research online because we was actually in Maine. So I was doing a pre-com in Maine, and we had to get a house in San Diego, so we know the ship was coming to San Diego. So we did a lot of stuff online. So we didn't even see this house before we bought it, right? So we had to do video and things like that. So we found the house, we picked the house, and the lady, big shouts out to Crystal, man. She did all the leg work and everything for us. And we got the house, man. My wife came a little bit early because we had to sell around. So my wife came down early, and the biggest thing out of all of this, when she came to San Diego, she had somewhere to stay. You know, the furniture was already here. Everything was already, all she had to do was just plan it, you know, and move right into the house when we got here. So it was a good deal.
VA loan is definitely a good thing because of some of that stuff, like no money down and stuff like that with the closing costs and things like that.
Yep.
But I do want to make the point that also depends on the seller and what the seller want to do. You know, you could have a VA loan and it got like all the protections and whatever contingencies you have in place. But if the seller wants that money, the seller going, you know, get that money, they might not accept your VA loan.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that me and my wife experiencing right now, and us buying a house, you know, because it's right at this moment in time, it's a seller's market. Yeah. So the sellers kind of got the leverage and what they want to do. And the whole no money, my wife's like, you talk about putting like $20,000 down on a house. I'm like, no, baby, we got the VA loan. Like the VA loan means no money down. Like I'm not putting money down if I have a loan that say I don't have to put money down. Yeah.
And that's something we known for a long time. So we was ready. Like when I get up of age and I get ready to get my house, I'm using the VA loan.
Yeah, with no money down. I've been planning to not put money down.
Most definitely, man.
But what other kind of things, you know, anything else major programs that the military offers that you use yourself?
Man, I think that's about it, man. No, I think that's about it. Some of the major programs I didn't use. What about you?
Nah, that's it for me. VA loan, and then I already talked about the TA and stuff like that. But I do want to talk about, like, just to switch gears. So we got an email back from who did we get this email from? So whoever it is, I'm about to call about it a little. So the Force 3MC, right?
Force 3MC.
It is Force 3MC. So I'm gonna start out just saying, like, I love you and respect you, you know. But I'm gonna kind of go over this email real quick. So Force 3MC guidance on 90-day updates to work candidates, right? High importance. So, you know, the new 3M instruction change with the 90-day update, and people been putting pretty much that ship's force review to check is still applicable, right? So they so this is like a little excerpt. This is an excerpt from this email. The key word there is updated, right? Ensure all work candidates in the Department of CSMP are reviewed on or before 90 days and every 90 days thereafter. Utilize the weekly 3MC CSMP ad hoc query to identify JSNs that have not been updated. The key word there is updated. The DIVO and LCPO are required to brief the status of the CSMP to the department head weekly. If there are no updates to the job, like parts are back ordered, new ESD is supply canceled part, or job brokered to fiscal year 21 availability, ship's force will work on discrepancies, then it's not updated. If you define update in the dictionary, it states an act of bringing something or someone up to date or an updated version of something. The old way of updating a job, like Lieutenant Smith verified job, is valid 22 October 2020, does not in fact meet the GIFM requirement. We will clarify the black and white with examples and remarks in a new TICOM 3M instruction that is in the works. We trying to get rid of bad habits like a job sitting in a CSMP to label a valve or paint a valve hand wheel with numerous updates that say Lieutenant Smith verified job is valid 20 January 2020, right? It's funny, but I bet there's something similar in your CSMP, right? So he going in like this all what he talking about, right? But like, what about it? So when I read this email, I was automatically triggered, right? And then R3MC, he sent us this email in the email chain, and one of the guys kind of responded with the same thing I was thinking. What about the jobs where the status actually didn't change, like a part that was back ordered?
Yeah.
right? I'm not bullshitting in my response if I'm saying that it's still applicable. It's nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Right? So force, this is a question. What do we do about the jobs that's just, we've been waiting on a part and we're not getting it till next year? I got to review this job and update it every 90 days. What's the update if, hey, I'm still waiting until January 2022? Do I just say, hey, still waiting on January 2022? Or is the expectation to drive a better ESD or a better estimated data delivery? So that kind of got me right there, man.
Yeah. So who did Force send it out to? Force 3MC. Who he sent that email to?
The 3MCs. So the 3MCs can send it. Yeah. So the 3MCs can send it to us. Yeah, man.
So I'm assuming 3MCs out there, man. You know, you guys got something different on this take, man. You know, please hit us up and let us know. But you know, I can see he getting some pushback from somewhere to send that email out for one. Well, you know, but I think he need to be more. When some people send emails out like this, they sometimes forget that they was on ships before. You know, it's easy to sit behind that desk on shore duty sometimes and shoot these emails out. You know what I mean, on what we doing and not doing. But long as it's black and white, it's black and white. I got that. I understand that. But if it's no change,
the problem is it's no black and white. What's the black and white?
That too.
If I'm waiting on the part, what's my update?
It's not an update. You're right. And then I know the change was, I think it went from 180 to 90 days, right? It was 180, 180 days, then went to 90 days. But that's a real question though. Yeah. If it's no update,
what the hell are we supposed to write?
What we supposed to do? So hey, y'all 3MCs holler at us, man. You know, I'm trying to figure that out myself. That's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, so that's one thing I saw that pissed me off. I saw another post on the Mentorship Facebook page. Some kid was talking about that the Chiefs mess get better food than the regular mess.
Now, I'm going to tell you this, man. Especially with this, I've been on different ships, so and been in the mess on different ships, but I'm gonna tell you this right here, man. On small boys, it's the same freaking food. It's the same food that you got on the line. That's the same food that we get. And sometimes your food may be a little bit better than our food. Right. So I just want to put, especially when I don't know, the last ship I was on, when it came to the salad bar, come on, man, they was killing it out there on the salad bar. We couldn't even get a salad.
Yeah. Why is it the same food? Simple mathematics, right? We do unreps. We receive food at the same time, and it come in those same boxes.
Yep. Now, I'm gonna tell you on a different ship I was on. Now I was on the Nimitz, right? It was a carrier, right? Food was a little bit different in the chief mess, right?
Was it different food or was it prepared different? Because you had a
I take that back. Wasn't different food, but we had, like, say for example, in the chief mess, we always had. Actually, I take that back. In the mess line for E60 Blows the same way too. We had this fast. What they call it for like fast food or whatever you eat. You always got your chicken strips. You always got your wings and things like that in there all the time. But if you wanted something, you can go ahead and talk to the CS1 or the chief CS. But they got their own separate thing though. So normally, like on the ship, on a small boy, you got the chief and you got, you know, all your CS1s and things like that. On a carrier, we kind of got our own CSs for the chief mess. Mm-hmm. So we got a CSC. He kind of running. He got his own people. They only work in the chief mess. So sometimes we can go in there like, hey man, can you go back there and get me a burger? Burger may not be on the line, but they'll throw one on the grill for you real quick. You know what I mean? Things like that. But that's the only difference I've seen from coming from a carrier and coming from there, because they had their own mess. So it was a little bit different. But you are right though. When it comes to the food standpoint, it's the same food. We don't get nothing like, we don't get like freaking a different type of steak than you got.
Blue Mountain.
You know what I mean? We don't get a different type of burger than you got. We don't get same thing.
It's that Blue Mountain box, that white box with the blue words. Most of the meat come in that. With Otis Spunkmeyer, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Now, and I did when I was at FSA. Another another, revealing story about me. You know what I'm saying?
You feeling? Wait, man.
So when I was at FSA, they was eating pork and beans on the mess decks, right? I was a war room FSA. On the mess decks, dudes, they had the pork and beans going. I came down with the shrimp scampi that they were serving in the mess decks, and I ate the shrimp scampi with my boys.
Ooh,
on the mess decks when they was eating pork and beans. Well,
man.
Suppo heard about that.
Oh yeah, that's not a good look.
Suppo
right
heard
there.
about that, and I got like verbally counseled about like not like letting the crew know that the war room was eating different food. And the war room didn't eat different food like every day. It just happened to be on this pork and beans day that the CS decided to make shrimp scampi.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to see, like, I'm official up there. I got shrimp scampi.
Yeah, I mean, but not the wardroom really doesn't eat anything that different either. But I will say this about the wardroom. They had to pay for their food like out of pocket, like right there. And I know we kind of pay for our food too because it comes out every month or whatever. But they have to pay like cash money like right there, like to I ain't gonna say cash money. But they have to pay for their food, in the wardroom. Like I don't know if they do it once a month or whatever they do, but they have to actually pay for it out of their pocket.
Yeah. So you talked about being on the carrier, right? How long ago was that?
I was on the carrier from 2010, 2012.
Did you so at that point they had deep fat fryers?
Yes.
Okay, that took a while, man.
It took a while because I'm trying to remember. I think they was in the process. They was in the process of taking them off though.
Yeah,
ships.
2010. Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah, they started taking them off.
But before then you've had food from because you done PMS on deep fat fryer, right?
Yeah.
So is the deep fat fryer something that you wish the Navy kept? Or?
Man, hey, most definitely, man. Them deep fat fryers was the shit, man. Like we used to throw, man, your fries, your chicken wings, your all that stuff, man. You just throw them things in there, man. They ready to go in minutes, man. And I'm talking about fresh. Better food, better everything. And I understand this healthy life, trying to go green and all this stuff. But that's, to me, yes, it's healthy. But at the same time, man, it's a choice. As long as you put the choices out there, let people pick the choices they want. If I want wings and I want to be 300 pounds, that's my choice. That's my choice, man. Like, put it on the line. Right now, we going green and we just, gotta eat veggies and baked fries and baked fish and baked everything.
Yeah, I just bake fish every day.
Yeah. Oh, and fish has to be on the line. You
might just eat baked fish every day. But like, what anything else in that realm of things from before that you love that's gone that you would like to see back?
Not necessarily a something like APC and something like deep fat fried and that stuff. But what I like to see come back, man, is the Guard 2000.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that program?
I heard of it. Yeah, that's the one where you could go home and recruit or something like that. Ain't that one?
No, that's not that one. This one is a kind of a retention tool.
Oh, where you could go where you want to go on your next duty station.
I used it, right?
Yeah.
So I used this Guard 2000. Let me tell you, right? So first off, this Guard 2000 can waive 18 months, right, from your sea duty, right? But it's situational, so it depends on what's going on. But it can waive 18 months. But I used it, right? So this is how I used it. I went to the guy called me into his office, one of the acting career counselors, So he called me in his office and said, "Hey, would you be interested in using the Guard 2000?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What is it about?" He said, "Yeah, man, you can lead the ship like next month if you wanted to."
That was high.
That's like, guys, you can lead the ship next month. Go to this pre-com ship, blah blah. And on top of that, I was a second class, and I wanted to go to CBR school, right? So it's a retention thing. So now I got to go to a different ship, do something different, and I get to go to this school.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, I thought that was a big deal because I know if I would have went to that ship, the ship wasn't going to send me to school. right? So it was part of the Guard 2000 program. And of course, I had to. It's 4E4 to E9 at the time. You had to re-enlist for like at least 4 years.
Yeah, I think that would kind of get retention rates.
Yeah, you can, and then you can actually go to certain places. Like I can go, like say for example, it'll say you can go back to San Diego. You want to go back to San Diego. You can go back to VA. You can go back to all these places that people want to go. Sometimes when you come out of boot camp, they just give you your orders. You don't have no selection. You don't know where you're going. But after you do your first enlistment, now you can re-enlist under the Guard 2000, and you can go back home, or if they got the availabilities wherever you want to go.
What was the catch to it?
It wasn't. To me, it wasn't a catch to the program.
Yeah.
It's some criterias for the program, but it wasn't a catch to it. You know, it either could help you or you just didn't like it for whatever your reasons are, but it wasn't a catch. It was all beneficial. That's the way I saw it anyway. But they got rid of that program. I'm sure they got rid of it because of the fact of it was a retention tool.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm assuming at the time we got a certain number of people in the Navy, and I'm sure it's okay. We'll get rid of this program. And that's my opinion. I'm assuming that's what happened. But if anybody else knows more information about the Guard 2000 program and want to hit us up, let us know.
Yeah. I think for me, it's the deep fat fryers, man. That's my biggest thing that I wish came back.
Yeah.
Let's get fries the way fries are supposed to be made, man.
For real, man. I'm with you on that, on them fries, man. And wings, man. Like, golly, man.
And then I've heard stories of like classroom training being better, like as far as like A school training, and not just the eagle fucking a Beck. I don't know if that's what y'all called it when y'all were going through, but we used to
I ain't call it that, man.
You never called it eagle fucking?
No, I ain't call it that.
All right, so
we don't
y'all ever called it eagle fucking, Saul?
Nope.
All right, so eagle fucking, right? This is what it was, right? So you go to school, and on top of the class that you're going in, this Beck, right? Basic Engineering Common Core. It's like a bird on top of the page that you're doing a training on, and it was an eagle, and you would just click the beak of this bird, and like you could just keep going till you get to the pretest. So you didn't really learn anything. You just took enough pretest to be able to see all the questions, and then you good to go.
Yeah. That was a big thing when they switched over from the classroom to doing it like that, and sailors coming to the fleet, and you can see the difference in hands-on and not hands-on. These guys don't know what the fuck is going on right now, man. You really gotta teach them. You gotta teach them a lot. Now, like normally they come on the ship, they already know a little bit about 3M, they already know a little bit about the maintenance, they already know a little bit about the equipment. Now they just seen it on pictures. They never actually touched it, or nothing. So it's
had like
different.
Classroom training. Took notes. You had an instructor that probably was writing on the board. I only heard about that. My uncle, he's retired, so he would tell you he was a retired Master Chief ENCM. But he would kind of tell me about that. So I was talking to some sailors about the training that I went through. I went to ATT as well. So to be an EM, you go through Beck, and you go through your non-Charlie school, which is the electrician school with EMs and GSEs, and then you go through ATT. And when I go through ATT, I went with the combat people who, us snipes used to call them twidgets. I know you know all that, right?
Yeah.
But at ATT, did you go to ATT, so?
No, I was strictly professor or instructor level.
Okay, so when we went to ATT, so that means Saul got some actual training. But when we went to ATT, it was the same way. You could just take the pretest. But this how dated, it was. So I'm talking to the sailors, a couple sailors that have been in the Navy like 4 years. And I was like, hey, man, we used to go crazy because if you were the top grad, you get a Palm Pilot. And they was like, Chief, what's a Palm Pilot?
They don't know that. What they get now?
It was like an iPad. I was like a Palm Pilot. Like, yo, you know how crazy, like how much I wanted this Palm Pilot? Like, I really want to be able to scribe. Like whatever you do with it, like you probably playing solitaire or Tetris or whatever you do with it. Yeah. But I wanted this Palm Pilot like so bad, man. I don't know if anybody still has a Palm Pilot. So I showed them pictures. They was like, that's like a BlackBerry or something, Chief. That's old. It's like, that's what we used to be able to, win if we was the top grad, man.
Yeah, man. I wonder if they get now, if they get anything. All right, don't
They
get
have iPads in boot camp, don't they?
I don't know. They might. That's another good question, man. I don't know.
I heard they had. I heard they had.
You guys
iPads
got iPads in boot camp. Hit us up, man. I want to know.
Yeah, I heard
iPads in boot camp.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what I heard. So, what about some of the stuff that you are glad that you saw go? Like some of the stuff that we got rid of. I start off with mine. Utilities, man. Yo, utilities. I'm gonna tell you why. Right. If you somebody that your weight fluctuate, them utilities get tight quick, like in the inner leg area.
Yeah.
And then the pockets flare out real. You ever saw somebody with their pockets flared out?
Yeah, man.
Look like a magician or something. Look like he might be like Aladdin vibes. But yeah, so the utilities, the way the pockets used to crunch up and flare out, and the way the shirts kind of fit, like after a while. Yeah. I ain't like how they. I know you probably was in the Navy back when they had dungarees.
Yeah, man. I had dungarees, man.
I like
for like 2 years, man. I used to, and I was fit too.
Yeah, I heard about dungarees.
Those dungarees, boy, I tell you, man.
Yeah,
it was wide at the bottom, man, but they fit tight. You
That's like the gel. That's the gel suit, right? That was the old Shawshank kind of gel suit,
man.
right?
Yeah, it was nice, man. So I really don't. It's a lot of stuff out there. If I probably dove in deep and say we glad they got rid of, but I want to talk about something that I wish they get rid of, right? Mm-hmm. I wish they get rid of and it's on board ships. It's not on shore duty. I'm talking about on board ships. I wish they got rid of these programs, and one is DAPA, and the other is the CMEO program. And I know everybody looking at, oh man, why the fuck you want to get rid of those programs?
Yeah, like I was a CMEO boss, man.
I know you're a CMEO. I know.
And I'm about to be a DAPA.
About to be a DAPA. Yeah. But you'll be a DAPA on shore duty though, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I want to get rid of these programs, I'm thinking about it because I feel like it's a little bit of bias when it comes to the program if it's on board the ship. I feel like the CO or the CMC can call you in and say, what's up with this sailor? And then I have heard rumors of people be like, all right, and I actually heard they'd be like, oh, they probably just trying to get out of something, right? But now if you take it to shore duty, you send that sailor over there to shore duty, now it's no bias to it, right? And they don't have to be active duty. They could be civilians or whoever, but they can actually figure out and they have no buy-in. It doesn't hurt the ship. It doesn't, hurt that division or whatever the sailor on board the ship could be thinking about. They off there, they figuring it out from a shore duty standpoint. Now I'm saying this, and I know it's okay, what if we got to see, you got to get them to talk to somebody, blah, blah, blah. I know it's all that stuff out there, but I just think it's a better program if it was on shore duty and we sent them off of there and you have no bias, you have anything when it comes to those type of programs. They get the help they need.
I agree with you. I think that's what they doing. They trying to do that more with the sexual assault as well, sexual harassment reports and stuff like that. All of those reports should be based off ship. I believe that. I remember one time when I was dealing with a report with the chain of command and the CCS, who I think we gonna probably sit down with him soon. But the CCS, he told me, and I want to talk to him about it. But he was like,
"What CCS stand for?"
The Command Climate Specialist,
okay.
Right? And he was like, and I was a CMEO at the time. He was like, "Hey, just remember, these are the same people that rank you, write your eval, stuff like that." That was serious, like that was like, and he was like, I'm all about you doing what's good and right, but just remember, these the same people that's going to be ranking you and judging you. So really think about, the decision you make. And it just didn't have anything to do with my commanding officer anywhere like that, but it was something that happened, and I wanted to do what I felt like was right as the CMEO. So now you're weighing that too. So so you're right. It's a conflict of interest, a lot, and then it also spills back to the sailors who might have came and reported to you, because that kind of downgrades you, period. Because if you didn't help, a certain sailor, if they didn't feel like they was like satisfied with your help, that's a bad Yelp. I call it a bad Yelp review. That's a bad Yelp review.
Yeah.
Somebody else gonna say, hey, chief not gonna help. And then that might spill over just to like basic mentorship. At that point now, you might not even be able to mentor a seller just based off of, you know, a bad CMEO experience that, you know, a seller had. So it's definitely tough. I've had, before you go, I've had, you know, even after, you know, turning over CMEO, I've had, you know, sellers come talk to me. And I'm like, hey, you got to talk to the CMEO. And then some sellers already have barriers in communication with the CMEO before even talking to the CMEO.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to talk about, man. I was going to say the barriers, man. Like, you out there, you have to sell yourself a certain way so sellers will come and talk to you.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those things where I always want, hey, you know, speak up. You know, a CMEO or a DAPA, whoever, is not going to know if no one tells them,
right.
If you don't bring it up or anything like that. So that's just I know it's my opinion on it, man, but I just think it's a great idea, man. Like, have it off the ship then, because you are right, man. If that sailor don't get the help that they need, they feel like you didn't help them or you didn't do the thing that you need to do. And then that sailor talked to another sailor. Then it's like wildfire. Then all of a sudden, hey, don't go to chief because he ain't gonna help you out. You know, I can see that stuff happening on the mess decks. You know,
and then problems are not being fixed, addressed, anything at that point. So it's definitely, and the whole big time CMEO conversation, I really want us to table it, and you know, because we want to have it with the CCS. But you said the same thing about the DAPA too. Yeah. Is it for the same reason?
I just think like for example, someone having a problem, right? And they like when it comes to let me see what words I'm looking for. Self-referring, right? I feel like if you want to self-refer, how about go off the ship and self-refer you out there, right? You self-refer on the ship. Now everyone knows, you know, he's got an alcohol problem. He's going to do this. I think it limits it a little bit if he went off the ship and wanted to self-refer himself.
So you're riding right into my question, and like the first kind of big thing that I want to talk about is, can leaders be trusted then? Yeah.
I do think leaders can be trusted, right? But I think also trust is also earned, right? So if I'm doing something and I expect someone to lean my way a little bit, and I know I kind of jack this up, don't expect the leader to freaking trust you, because now I know you done this before. So yes, I'm gonna question something you do, because you didn't do something right the first time, or the way it should have been done in accordance with, or whatever. But I intentionally don't think leaders are out there trying to fuck over people or anything like that. I really think that people want to do the right thing. They may not know how to say it. They might not know how to
they might not know how to do it.
But I don't think they intentionally go out there to be a bad leader, right? But
so you know, I bring that up because the articles that's been coming out, certain things about sellers having a lack of trust in leadership.
Yeah. And I see it. I mean, but sailors and all of us have to understand also, we got a job to do. And sometimes if you don't understand that, if you think for 1 second the captain just sitting in his stateroom and want to get on the way just to get on the way, a lot of times that's over his head too. You know, a lot of times we don't understand the fact of that we don't make final decisions on a lot of things. Like even myself as being a scene chief, like, okay, we gonna muster every day because we doing in-serve at 2000, right? That's been put out by somebody above me. But my sailors, sometimes when I put it out to them, I'm putting it out like it's coming from me.
Yeah.
Right. So now they think, oh man, chief keeping me here.
Yeah, and that was 2000, and that was in the Extreme Leadership book by Jocko Willink, and leaf babbing, right?
Yep.
Where they was talking about getting orders and being like so upset with the orders, and then kind of toning it down, dialing it down, and realizing that like we all want the same thing. Like we all want the same exact goal. I got to understand why they asking for this. I got to understand why I need to make these reports and you know, and kind of have all of these deliverables ready to go. And that's a big thing. Like you just said, like leaders have the same goal. We all want to succeed.
Yep.
You know, but like I said, it's not like nobody's flawless.
Yeah.
Meaning that everybody still needs help and nobody knows it all. That's why when you were talking the other week and we was talking about like getting feedback, right? And you was talking about getting feedback from junior sellers as a senior enlisted seller. That means a lot. Like you don't know how you doing without that feedback. And it's a respectable way to get that feedback.
Yeah.
So I do believe that leaders could be trusted. But I also do know some of us burn bridges as well.
Yeah. And a lot of times we can burn bridges because sometimes it's so easy, right? It's so easy for me to stand in front of my guys and say, you know, the CEO want everybody to be here to 2000.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do that. Now I get everything off of me. It's so easy for me to go out and say some stuff like that. And then on top of that, somebody else gonna start talking about this and that, and they gonna overhear that. Then now you done lost the trust of your guys because, you know, you went in and said something differently, and now it's like this, and so you start losing trust, and then your guys start losing it for you a little bit. So, and
when they lose it for you, they lose it for other leaders.
Yeah,
like you.
Yep. Especially in the mess, man. That, you know, we always talk as one. You know, so that's how it is. You know, we do one bad thing. It's the mess did that. They'll never say, "Oh, Chief blah 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 did that." No, man, the mess, man, they acting a fool in the mess.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I would forewarn people from going and making decisions based off emotion, like an emotional response to like emotion as far as caring about your people, being there for them when they're in the hospital, you know, being sympathetic for issues that they have is different than having an emotional response to your seller being late or your seller being upset. And I just recently had an emotional response. So I had to kind of check myself and talk to the seller. And like it's like you don't want to go tit for tat with one of your sellers based off of emotion.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where a lot of leaders lose it. No matter if that seller is being emotional or not, you can't respond being emotional. The first thing you lose them then. Like the first thing they're going to do is kind of judge you right there.
Yeah. I tell you, man, I give you a example without giving names out. I'm sure they'll probably know who I am, know who I'm talking about. But I had this chief came to me, and he's an emotional guy, period. He wears it on his sleeves and all that stuff. And one day we was in the mess and something was said in there, and he rebuttal, and then somebody else rebuttal, and he normally don't hold it in, but this one time he held it in, and he held it in because he was hearing the fact that he's always mad or he's always pissed off about something, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't want to hold it in, but he did, right? So this guy stopped by my little office, and came in. And when he talked to me and told me what was going on, and he asked me like, how do he handle this and how can he handle it? The words that I said to him was, the way you handle it is right now how you came in here and talked to me one-on-one instead of letting your emotions get to you while you was in the mess.
Yeah.
Right now you can go back and you can address that guy. You can one-on-one and say, okay, this is what was going on. This is what I was feeling. This is what I was trying to say, and you didn't let me say it, you know, or whatever the case may be. But knowing when you getting too much, getting overwhelmed by something, take a few seconds, sit down, relax, rethink, and then you go back and address the situation.
One-on-one is like always the best way to do it. It's always going to be a different conversation.
Most definitely.
So we talk a lot, right, when it comes to this lack of trust in leadership. And we talk about people that's kind of like oblivious to the fact that there are sellers saying that they don't trust leadership. Yeah. Right. And it's not on a small scale. It's starting to be reports about it. So
surveys.
So we can say it's not a lack of trust. It's not a lack of trust. Are they just not doing this? But even if it's not a lack of trust, it's a perceived lack of trust. However, a perceived lack of trust is a lack of trust. So we definitely have something to address there. We can't really run from it, or hide it. It's a lack of trust in leadership.
Yeah. If I wanted to really dive into why younger sailors says it's a lack of trust, or not just necessarily younger sailors, but if I wanted to dive in that, the first thing I would think about is the fact of sailors today have a bigger voice than I had when I came in the Navy.
Yeah.
I came in the Navy more of shut up and do your job, right? Mm-hmm. Now sailors have a voice. They can speak out, right? Yeah. So I think the trust figured, okay, if they have a better plan to do something, listen, right? You can always tell them the reason why we do it this way, but listen and hear they plan, and that letting your sailor, that's empowering them. A lot of times, us old dogs, we don't want to empower the young sailors because we've been doing something a certain way for so long.
Yeah, I call them dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, right? Speaking of dinosaurs, we have to empower these young sailors. It's easy for me to say, do it this way, and we've been doing it that way for a reason, right? But I look at it like, once that sailor tells you his way of doing it, and if it works, man, it works. But if it doesn't work, you can say, hey, the reason why we don't do this because of some safeties. The reason why we don't do this because people done died. The reason why we don't do this is because equipment then broke, or whatever the case may be. That's examples you can use. But guess what? I'm a firm believer that these young sailors are smarter than me. Yeah. So if they're smarter than me, let me hear them out. Yeah, I want to hear them out.
These the new leaders, just the new generation. Yeah. These eventually are going to be the leaders, and the way that things are going to be done is going to be their way anyway. Yeah. Right. So I mean, that's there is like when you got to start practicing adaptation. Yeah. But one of the things when I talk to junior sailors, I think some of the confusion is about the extent of the relationship that we could have with junior sailors as leaders, as khaki more so. Like, how far can you take it? Yeah. Right?
I tell you, man, it's a thin line. Yeah. Right? But I try not to get too involved, like, outside of work with junior sailors unless we're having some kind of functional things like that.
Why?
And my biggest reason for it, and no disrespect for no young sailors, nobody, right? Because I respect everybody. But I think sometimes it's a authority thing, and some young sailors don't know how to turn it off and on, right? Like if they come into my house and we hanging out and we having beers and we kicking it, they're gonna be talking to me in a different way, right? So now when we get to work and we trying to get stuff done, now it's like, what's up, Damon?
Now, is that based off experience? Have you been through something like that before?
Been through it. I've been through it, but not as a chief. I've been through it.
I've been through that as a first class.
Yes, been through it, and I've been to a first class, and even when I was a works in a suit.
Works in a suit. Yeah.
Works in a suit. Man, it's like changed my whole mindset, my whole dynamic, and made me understand why my chief said this stuff before. Because I got into E5, I'm trying to tell my sailor to do something, and we just kicked it this weekend. And we going at it in the P-way. Yeah. Right? Going at it. And that's where I think
and it's looming in your head the whole time. Like, yeah, man, we just hung out. This dude, he not going to respect me, or she not going to respect me. Yeah. And that's crazy.
And then I'm out there doing wild stuff on the weekend. I'm wilding out. They see me wilding out like this, see me doing this and that. And it's a respect thing, man. So I think the whole thing with how far we can go. And I love young sailors. I love talking to them, and I love having little get-togethers to see how they interact and do stuff like that. But I also know if it goes too far, and I know the repercussions of it going too far.
Yeah, like some stuff is like a part of the job, right? Correct. Yeah. Like when you go through initiation, you chief, you kind of go through stuff. correcting sellers for like uniform discrepancies and stuff like that. That's a part of the job. That's our job now. You know, just as when we were, you know, junior sellers are the E5 that works in the soup. Your job was to kind of be the guy to train, to be that works in the soup, fastest mover on the deck plate. First class, you know, the guy to kind of like shadow your chief, to kind of like do your chief's job as far as the output is with the work center and stuff like that. That was your role, your responsibility. As chiefs, that good order and discipline and in the Navy, what is our job to uphold that kind of stuff, to uphold the heritage, to uphold the customs and all the traditions. So a lot of times, so it's not personal, you know, when somebody correcting somebody in the P-way for wearing headphones in uniform, you know, you can't do that. It's not a personal thing. And I never want, you know, kind of sellers to take it personal. But you also, some people do, and then you might seem wishy-washy when you see them the next minute, and you're like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up with it?" And they're like, you can't correct me and then try to be friends with me at the same time. It's not really a thing. You're just trying to do your job to the best of your ability, and correcting you in these moments happen to be what our job is right now.
Yeah. And with that being said, now I know a lot of you guys want to hang out with me. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Representing the 49ers, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. So I know you guys want to hang out with me, but you guys just got to understand, man. It is what it is, man. You know, I just want to throw it out there, man. You know, heavy demand, man.
They got to win a championship first, man.
Yeah, man. But it's all good, though, man.
Niners got to win a championship first.
Yeah, we ain't quite, we ain't quite make it, but it ain't got too many injuries this year, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That was a big deal, man. Big deal.
So Dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, we just spoke a little bit about Dinosaurs just then, but for the Dinosaurs,
what's your definition of a dinosaur?
My definition of dinosaur is somebody who's been doing something for a long time and can't flex, right? Like been doing it. For example, I can say his whole career he's been having printed out 13-week reports, right? I've been having this out. It's been done forever, right? All of a sudden, this new program come out. You don't got to print out 13-week report again. But as an old dog, I want to see it. I want to see it on paper so I can follow it, because it's what I've been doing. So regardless of what the program says, I need you to print that out and have it on my desk so I know what's going on for the week, right? But guess what, man? You don't have to do that no more, man. Like, and sometimes the old dogs, them dinosaurs, man, they can't get over the fact that things are changing. Yeah, you know, and that's what I think of dinosaurs, and it goes back to what I said before. If we listen, you know, a little bit more to these young sailors when they talking to us, I think it'll go both ways when it comes to respect. I think it'll go both ways when it comes to getting things done, because they have an input. And I'm here to tell you, so all the sailors know that I don't just talk this just because I'm on this podcast. This is what I talk about all the time, you know, with young sailors and stuff, trying my best to empower them in a way and not shoot them down before they get started. You know, they trying to come up with these plans, trying to come up with this, and all of a sudden, nope, not going to happen.
So, yeah, because what happens to dinosaurs? They go extinct.
Go extinct, man. We're not going to be here forever, man. These young sailors is the future, man.
They go extinct. And a lot of, like, it's a lot that could be shared with that message. Like, a lot of people might not really know yet how to deliver a message. And we see that, too, where somebody might not know how to deliver a message, but we got to take in whatever message it is that they're delivering. Yeah. You know, a dinosaur would be somebody that's kind of judging them on the delivery, but not kind of tackling the issue. You know, so you follow up. All right. Like you follow up by training, right? Like this is how you should deliver this kind of message. But then before you do that, you actually address the problem. Like we got problems that need to be addressed. So, you know, a dinosaur for me, like you said, is just somebody that can't adapt to change and is going to be left behind. Yeah. Right. Not going to make it.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you can see it happening. You know what I mean? Like you can see where you was in in before, and all of a sudden now he's like, man, I don't have the same, effect I have on these sailors like I used to.
Yeah.
And it is because things are changing, right? And you got to be able to adapt to what's happening, and listening to these sailors, man. Even when it comes to electronics and the way they doing things with that stuff, man, it's like way different what we did.
So what you think? Like, how do you think when you look back, right? You got a bunch of different generations of people, sailors, and contributions that people had on just a personal level to the Navy. What do you think this generation, a sailor, is gonna like add to the Navy when it's all said and done? These guys, your E1s through E4s right now, or E5s, because people making rank fast. What do you think is going to be that major contribution to the Navy? How it's going to change after them?
Well, I think right now their biggest contribution is being themselves, and I say that because of the fact of when you got a diverse group that's coming into the table, they got a lot of different ideas, and I think where they gonna come in, they gonna pay big dividends is when they are not scared to talk.
Yeah,
they are not scared to voice their opinion, and I think that's where they're gonna pay their dividends at. They gonna do their biggest work when it comes to that stuff. And I'm telling you, these kids are not scared to speak their mind on whatever situation it is. So I think that's what they're gonna pay forward.
Yeah, I think these sailors, the new guys from E1 through about E5, I think some of the biggest contribution they make is in that rebellious kind of stamp, where there are avenues to kind of handle all of the issues. Mm-hmm. But we see it a lot. Like a lot of times, some of these junior sailors might not agree with a rule or something, and they just break that shit every day.
Yeah,
they just break it every single day, right? And so that's the bad part of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the bad part of it. But that's also where I think when they get it in gear and they figure out the way to actually affect and make a change, that's going to be the positive part of it as well. They don't like it. 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 They just not gonna support it. They just not gonna do nothing about it. It's better avenues to take, but they don't know them. So the best gift that we can give is to be the people that give them the better avenues to take to make the change. Sometimes it's things that we've always questioned too. Like, hey, why does this got to be this way? Why does this got to be this way? Yep. But we never really did anything about it. They just rebel,
and they will get together. They'll get together and rebel too, man. They'll talk to their friends about it and talk to everybody. Why are we doing this? And they'll bring it forward, man. So I like that though.
I love the rebel spirit. I would say continue the spirit, but try to get to the right forums, try to get to the right people, and try to make actual change. There's no reason to underground violate laws or violate customs or violate instructions. Actually do what you got to do to make the change. It's probably not that hard to make the change. See, the thing about me is I'm always uphold whatever the instruction is. Yeah. Right. But the other thing about me is if you bring up a point to me and that point makes sense and it's against the instruction or something like that, the next thing we need to do, let's see if we can rewrite this instruction.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that came out when we were talking about some about the kids with the twists and all that stuff. You actually was rolling with that, trying to figure it out, trying to hit up the people to see can we make a change to this. I remember that happening. So, if it's a legitimate point, bring it up.
Let's be progressive.
Yeah.
So that's another big thing that I had. There's something you wanted to talk about too, wasn't it? Like about being selfish, something like that.
Yeah. So my question is can you be selfish in the Navy and be successful?
So you asked me that, and I asked somebody that. I asked them what they thought about that, and they said the answer was yes.
Okay. What's your answer?
My answer, without putting any of my own personal feeling on it at first, is yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
What's your answer? Just one answer. Like they made me. You only got you is yes or no.
I do got a part to it though. I got a part.
Yeah,
but
we
right
gonna
now,
get into the part.
I'm gonna say yes to.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And so now can I break down why I'm saying yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm saying yes to a certain time period, right? So I'm saying yes, I'm gonna be selfish when I'm a E1, I'm an E2, I'm an E3, and I'm hungry and I want to go out there and I want to be the best and I want to beat everybody in everything, right? So I'm gonna be selfish, right? I might let you go home and I'm gonna stay back and study, right? Or I might do things like that and be selfish because I wanna be better than you at anything. So, but I do think once you get senior in the Navy, you can't be as selfish, right? You just can't be in certain things. You can be, right? But to me, it's not really about me as it is now that it was in '98, right? It's 2020 now. I'm in more of a stage of giving back right now.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in more of a state of saying, okay, this is what you could do to be better. This is what you could be, to do to be successful in the Navy. Now, when it comes to being a guy like me and want to be selfish, it comes to my worth. Right. I know if I'm on a ship or I'm at shore duty and I know I might be one of the better guys here, but my evaluations don't reflect that. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little hurt. I'm gonna be a little selfish because I know what I put in and I know it didn't come out like that. So I think you could be selfish when it comes to something like that. But at the end of the day, people evaluate you. So it ain't like you evaluating yourself. So somebody else could be seeing something different. I could be selfish as a senior person when it comes to my education.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I want to do. I'm finna get this done. So that's the reason why I say yes to it. But as I got senior in the Navy, it kind of like wasn't a no still, but it's not as selfish as I was when I first came in.
Yeah, you just can't be. Right.
Yeah.
You got people that you're around that you're supposed to be leading, you're supposed to represent in every kind of way. So you just can't be.
Yeah.
As a E1, like you said, E2, E3, E4, you're only worrying about yourself.
Yeah.
Those are the years to be worrying about yourself. Do you need to be supportive of your team, which is your division? I believe so. You need to be supportive of your division, and as far as being able to be a team player, getting a job done. But outside of that, you shouldn't be really worried about too many collaterals at that point. Maybe you getting your ESWAS and, working on being a works in a suit. But until then, you need to just be killing it every day, working on your own personal career. So that that's my outlook on everything. Your first 5 years is what's going to dictate your next 15. And that's if you're doing a 20-year or even, past, 15.
Yeah.
But that's if you're doing a 20-year career. Your first 5 years, your first command, how much work you put in is going to dictate everything that comes after that. So just read, study, because reading and studying is like a lost art too. Read, study, and kind of build a foundation for those next 15 years. So yes, in those first couple years, it might sound crazy, but be selfish.
Yep.
Worry about your knowledge, worry about your training, because it's going to be times that you can't do it. When I made chief, like we supposed to be subject matter experts. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to my first, I had a picture perfect imagery of like how I was going to be as a chief. So I'm going to go to my first ship and I'm going to stay in office and study. I'm going to go through SCAD. I'm going to go through OHMS. I'm going to be a chief. I'm going to study, and I'm going to be this like all-knowing like expert.
Yeah. When
my division runs into trouble, I have a tech manual, and they come right to me, and I'm good to go. Yeah. Right? What's that, like the Oracle from like the Matrix or something like that? Yeah. All right, I got it. Man, soon as I get to the ship, I don't have time to study or train.
Nope.
Soon as you get to that ship, it's your people, whether it's a personal issue, whether it's work related, it's no time to sit down and read and study. So take advantage of the time early, the time you have to self-study, to learn. be a little selfish is going to pay off at the end. Not in a negative way. I'm not talking about selfish in a negative way. Selfish in a positive way. Worry about yourself. Take care of yourself. Study. All of the programs we talked about earlier. Invest your time in learning what they are. Invest your time in you.
Yeah. And speaking of that, learning when you're young, man, like, you're right, man. I remember being on the ship, my first ship, and I was an undesignated sailor, right? So meaning I didn't have a rate, meaning I didn't have a job, title, whatever. That's what that means. So I was on the mess decks and I was in repair division, meaning I was going to be a damage controlman, right? I knew I was going to be a damage controlman, but I didn't know anything about damage control. I was learning, right? But only thing people know is that you work in repair division, so you a damage controlman. They don't care if you're undesignated or not. And I remember having my second class was calling me out on the mess decks. He was doing DC training, and he was asking me all the questions. Like I've been to A school and I did all this stuff. And that was one of the moments in my Navy career, and I was like, this ain't gonna happen to me no more.
So you punched him in the face?
No. I went put that time in and learned this stuff. Right? I went to repair locker by myself till I figured this shit out.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't gonna call me on how to do a pipe patch no more. He ain't gonna call me on how to fight fires no more. You know, so I had to be a little bit selfish and say, okay, he called me out. So you
choked him out in a repair locker?
Nah, I ain't.
We gonna get one of these stories out of you, man.
I ain't.
We gonna get one of these stories. You did something. You did
yeah,
something.
Yeah,
man.
I got a lot of
David
stuff. You know
what?
Man. One day it's gonna come out, 'cause I got a real good Philly story, man, that happened to me, man. It didn't happen to me in Philly, but it was somebody from Philly. You know what I mean? So I bring that story a little bit later, man.
Hey, so while you just did mention Philly, everybody in Philly that's going through anything right now, in my prayers. Everybody in Philly in my prayers. It's a lot going on in the city right now. It's a whole lot going on in the city right now. It's a more social unrest, more rioting, stuff like that. So I just want to say everybody's in my prayers. The cops, they shot a guy. He had a knife. He was mentally ill. We found out later he had a mental health condition. They shot him. He had a knife. And after that, just, social kind of unrest ensued after that. And just on either side of the coin, for like some of the small business owners and some of the people in those neighborhoods that, some of those people in the neighborhoods are black. Like my sister owns a business in like a neighborhood, and she's okay with sacrificing her business for the cause that these people are fighting for, that us people are fighting for. But I just want to say, Philadelphia, period, you're in my prayers. This is definitely a podcast for service members, but I mean, we still people too. We still got places that we from. So Philadelphia, everybody, to the victim and all the victims, you're all in my prayers. And I hope that we don't have to talk about social injustice one day.
Yeah.
I
agree, man.
So what book you reading, boss?
So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I finished the book that I was on, and I really don't want to talk about it, man. The book that I read was about LLCs. I told you guys I was going to finish it. It really didn't teach me a whole lot, man. I could have watched a little YouTube video and figured out what they told me in this book. So it wasn't that good, but I did buy another book that I'm going to be reading this week. It's from actually my wife put me on this guy. His name is James Cooley, and the name of his book, from a country boy, a country boy to city boy. Mm-hmm. So the book is about, I ain't got any details, so I don't know exactly what it's about, but if it's about his upbringing and how he was a big fan of his the women in his life. So I'm looking forward to reading that book, and hopefully, James Cooley from out here. So hopefully meet him. I know he got a podcast. He got things going on. He's a motivator. So hopefully we might meet him one day.
I was waiting for the word motivation to pop up in our podcast, man. I was waiting. I got a ticker. So I was waiting. But mine is about, well, first off, I do want to say that the victim that I was talking about Philly and all the social unrest, his name is Walter Wallace Jr. His name was Walter Wallace Jr. He struggled with mental health issues. So first, rest in peace. Did he pass
away? He shot him.
Yeah. Okay. So rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Walter Wallace Jr. But the book that I was reading, the book that I want to talk about is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. So I see you looking, man. But you talked about the dichotomy of leadership. Extreme ownership meant a lot to me. I think one of the biggest chapters was the Friendly Fire chapter, where it was, I want to say it was Jocko who had to kind of like man up and realize like, yeah, this was my fault. Like, this whole thing was my fault. He had all the big wigs kind of come in and investigate the situation and, hey, whose fault was this? And a bunch of people manned up like, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. Nah, this was my fault. This is my fault, And that's how I've been approaching everything that happens. And that's how, if everybody approached everything that happened that way, you learn a whole lot about yourself and you learn a whole lot about your team if you take that ownership in every decision. So extreme ownership, if you haven't read it, whether you're a business owner, service member, or you just a regular person trying to just live, make sure you check out Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin.
Yeah, those guys were big time, man. And whatever book they put out, it's normally a pretty freaking good book.
Yeah, and I don't normally do the books by service members when we talk books. I told you I was on like my social and environmental stuff, but I definitely wanted to kind of talk about that book because that's a really good book. And everything we were talking about today as far as leaders and dinosaurs, stuff like that book pertains to all of those topics.
Yeah.
Another kind of thing that pertain to dinosaurs and stuff is the movie, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I didn't even think about it till you just said that. Yeah, man. So our book review was Crimson Tide. Now,
movie review.
It's Crimson Tide. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right now and get it out the way. It's another Denzel movie.
Yeah, man.
I know it's a Denzel movie, but I'm going to tell you guys, man, my mom, rest her soul, was a big Denzel fan. So I got a big heart for old Denzel, man, when it comes to movies, and he's a great actor. But yeah, so with that being said, I'm probably not gonna hit old Denzel up for a while now, man.
Yeah,
I hit him two back to back. I'm probably not gonna hit him up. But starting out with the review on Crimson Tide, man, what you think?
I got a lot to say about it, right? So the first thing is this. I don't really understand how. First of all, let's do right by the movie, right? It was directed by Tony Scott, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. It starred Denzel Washington, the late James Gandolfini, Gene Hackman, Viggo Mortensen was in it, and a lot of other Ryan Phillippe was in it. A lot of those actors that were prominent in those time in the 90s were in this movie. And a lot of them are still prominent now and are legends, even like the director, Tony Scott. But there's a couple parts about the movie. The movie was crazy, man. This was a wild movie, right? So Gene Hackman was like the ultimate like asshole. Like, you don't know if he racist. Like, what is he, right? But it was a scene in the movie that like kind of, and like just you being a damage control man too, like it kind of struck me oddly. I never been on a sub, but like on the sub it's the XO that like is the only you got like this fire in the galley, and it's like what 12 people in there. The XO the only person that can extinguish the fire.
Let me tell you this, man. No disrespect, but the XO ain't coming on my scene, man. You know what I mean? When it comes to fires in the galley and all that stuff, man, like XO was down there in the fight, man.
He hit the emergency CO2 switch in the galley?
That should have already been done. I didn't understand. It kind of threw me off a little bit with the XO being down there, man.
CO2?
And it was CO2. So it's a.
It was like, and that's what it said on it. It was like a red square that said emergency CO2.
Yeah.
And he walked past a bunch of people fighting a fire, hit this switch.
Yeah.
So he was running. This whole scene hit me. Like he's running through the ship, running through the submarine, jogging, working out. It's a fire. And he's the only person that seems to know how to put this fire out, right? So he goes, he puts the fire out. And then the captain, he want to run a drill scenario during the time while it's an actual tragedy going on that eventually plays a part into the death of a sailor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was a crazy scene with him testing that, doing GQ. And the other thing, back to the Denzel character, man, like, I don't know if you noticed, everyone else in there had FFEs on. Denzel didn't have no FFEs on, man. He up in the fight. He doing the most. And he ain't got no FFE on, man. Not Denzel, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, the guy, I think it was a chief or something that died doing that scenario. And then there was a scene in there where he asked Denzel, the young Denzel, hey, you think it was my fault?
Yeah.
And then Denzel said no. But I think really he thought, why in the hell we running these, and he actually told him too, pretty much, like, why are we running drills doing an actual casualty type deal.
If you are on a sub, let us know if it's far-fetched or not for the XO to be putting out fires.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, me either. Is that a real thing? Or
that's
what?
not happening on the surface combat.
No. And a couple, I know you had that one. Another one was a dog. Is that a thing too for all your sub guys? Like, can you have a dog on your sub like that?
I know it's like a dog. I don't know if it's still true, but it's like a whole thing where like a dog could be on a ship if it's registered as a mascot, or that used to be a thing. I don't know how true that is now, but I remember taking my dog to my command.
I remember on one ship they had an actual goat was a mascot.
Yeah,
and the goat was like everywhere. It was when I was in, was it Hawaii or somewhere I was at, and the goat was everywhere. We had a function with them. We was actually part of when we did the initiation, so we was all part of it. And man, he had this goat everywhere, man.
I heard they snuck the goat on.
Man, goat shitting everywhere, man.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard they snuck the goat on.
Yeah, man. I don't know how it happened, but that goat was everywhere. Everywhere we went, that goat was there, man.
So, all right, back to this movie, right?
Yeah.
So they got a message that said to fire the missiles, right? That was the initial message, right? To fire the missiles. Another message came through, but the comms went down, so they only got like a portion of this message, right?
Yeah.
So, and it didn't have the actual message; it just had the whoever it was sent to. So then the question was, is this message telling us to fire the missiles or stand down? So that was the biggest battle between the XO and the CO, without giving up too much of the movie, because it's definitely worth watching. Denzel was the XO lieutenant commander, and the CO was a full bird captain.
Yep.
And the CO was like an old school kind of like, he actually been in war. Denzel was like this kind of new guy that was against war, kind of. So he was just against, in his own self, just against firing these missiles just as a person. But if he had to do it, he would have. Gene Hackman was like a cowboy. Like he wanted to do it. So then the big psychological aspect of it was, what did this message say? Is Denzel making the right call by waiting to get comms up to get the message, or is Gene Hackman making the right call by just wanting to fire off, which would cause a nuclear war at this point?
So what would you have did in that situation if you was a captain? What you would have did?
I would have waited for the message.
I would have too. And the only reason why I'm saying this, I would have waited for the message, because you already got a message that said fire the motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
But that half a message that came out, the reason why I would have waited is one reason only, man. It's because I've been thinking, why are you sending me another message
come out? Yeah. Why did another message come out?
Why are you sending me another? And I think that had to be what the whole story was about. Why are you sending us another message?
But it got crazy, right? They got guns, like
oh man,
it was like a standoff.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Big time tension, man, on that thing, man. They was locking they didn't lock the CO up.
Yeah,
commanding all of us a full bird.
So I always saw it from that part, right? Where with Denzel, where he was like telling them, like, you getting locked up, when they kept talking over each other.
Yeah.
Denzel killed that. He powerful. Both of them, like Gene Hackman too. But that was powerful, like, because Denzel did not. The whole time he was humble. He was taking it. But when it came down to standing up for what was right, he did not stand down from that, man.
Yeah, and then another good part where I feel like Denzel excelled in. So when they did the little thing where they took back over, right? Denzel gave him all the stare down, but he gave that whistle up. You know what I mean? He it was a good part where he didn't try to fight back. You know what I mean? He didn't try to do anything like it was,
They had like 6 guns pointed at him.
yeah, they had 6 guns, but you know Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel. I mean,
yeah, but he gave it up with grace and even gave him a turnover.
yeah. The stare down was crazy. So the turnover was decent.
Yeah.
The stare down was crazy because he looked at Viggo Mortensen, who was his friend. Then he looked at the black dude. No, he looked at the black dude first.
Yeah,
he
looked at him
like you, like
yeah,
like then he looked at Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah,
like he was his friend. But
let me tell you about that part though. This guy was at his kid's birthday party.
Viggo, right?
Yeah. And then he coming in and kind of like turned on him. But he didn't want to though. I mean, I guess, Denzel didn't know that, but he really didn't want to turn on Denzel though.
He wound up eventually not turning on him. And then it just so happened that Denzel was right, well, I gave that up. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Sorry about that. But what would you get a movie? How many stars?
Man, I'm gonna have to get that movie 3.5, man.
3.5?
Yeah. It was a good movie though. I mean, I like the movie. I like both parts, not just Denzel. I like, Hackman too. I think both of them did an outstanding job in the movie, man. Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead. I don't do the halves, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.
Okay.
I probably will do a half one of these days, to be honest. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3. A hot 3. Decent movie. Definitely good acting. Some of the stuff to me again seemed like it wasn't realistic. There's a couple scenes like I didn't really understand the whole. I was in and out of sleep, I guess, but the whole like closing the hatch down on the people. I understood that it was gonna stop the flooding, but I feel like 1 or 2 of those guys, like, why wasn't they just climbing out?
Yeah, the one that's it
seemed like they could just climb out, but somebody might have to better explain that part to me.
And one of the other things that wasn't something I think we'll do is in the beginning where the lieutenant dropped a sailor on the bus.
Oh yeah, he made him do push-ups.
They do push-ups and a dress. And I don't think that's happening right now either, though.
Yeah, that was that was crazy. But all in all, really good movie. I think it being dated and a little older affects my score too. Maybe if I watched it in 1994 or 5, whenever it came out, I would have probably enjoyed it more. But overall, good movie.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Y'all could continue making movies, Denzel and Tony Scott, which they did make some great movies after that together.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, man. That's it. Another week. Permission to speak freely. I'm Damo.
And I'm Damon.
Thank you for listening. See you guys next week.
Pay attention.